there's a parallel event, right, that's happening right now. Another state in the region that is being recognized as like a legitimate member of the international community. And that is, of course, Syria. And you can know that because, this is an event description from something called the Concordia Summit, called A Conversation with His Excellency Ahmed al-Sharaa, previously known as Jolani, president of the Syrian Arab Republic. And let me just see, I haven't read this yet. Representing the first Syrian presidential address since 1967, this unprecedented fireside discussion between Ahmed al-Sharaa and a guy called David Petraeus.
Yeah, weirdly, if you go back a bit in the archives, you can find in the Rewards for Justice program, they used to offer $10 million for David Petraeus, dead or alive. I don't know if you saw, there was this interview with Tom Barrack, the like US special envoy, where he kind of laid out the closest things you're going to get to a kind of Trumpist vision of Middle East policy, which is, it's, homo homini lupus, right? Like it's war of all against all. It's always a zero-sum game. Alliances are only ever exploitative, and that's realpolitik. And then very, very amusingly, he said that Arabs don't have a word for submission, and therefore it would only ever be war forever. And so, I guess somewhere in the midst of that kind of realpolitik, you get to see beautiful moments of healing, like David Petraeus getting on stage and saying "Salam alaikum, Saeed Rais" to the new president of Syria, a guy he locked up in Iraq when he was like fighting for Al-Qaeda.
Yeah, this is like, look, Trump, we have no idea how right Trump was when he said a time of healing, a time of whatever.
That's basically the epitaph for it, yes.
Yeah, this is a time of healing, a time of whatever. Jolani and Petraeus, the jihadi lays down with the general.
Not even one, but two extremely bloody, senseless, cynical, stupid wars, at the end of which turns out to be one lucky winner gets to like be on a stage being like, the path to conflict is made of like rocks or whatever, but the path to peace is made of harder rocks, and that's why it's more difficult. It's like, great, thank you for the insight.
That's very fun. That's 10% more vapid than what Sharaa actually said. He said, my mission in Syria is much more difficult than yours was in Iraq. Again, against me.
Yeah, and I should know, yeah.
Yeah, number one, my bad. We faced massive destruction over the past years, but we're focusing on economic development and building capabilities. Ministers are chosen from the community of business leaders and international experts who understand both the global and national economy.
It's so funny that he's a technocrat now. It's like he didn't even shave the beard off, dude.
Yeah, well, he was gonna be he was being like growing up to be a technocrat. Like that's what he wanted to be. He was born to do the spreadsheets, forced to ride around in the Hilux. Like this is all he ever wanted.
I mean, the only thing now, the real kind of détournement is now in a few years, like American civil society collapses into American A24 Marvel's Civil War 2, and you see Petraeus in the back of the Hilux. And ultimately, at the end of this, in like 10 years' time at another UN General Assembly, you get an older, wiser Jolani being like, so how was it for you? I was riding the Hilux.
And also, it's like, imagine also you're like one of the, like Uzbek foreign fighters that just like went to go like ride the Hilux with him. And you're like, wait a minute, why is he at the Concordia Summit talking about deregulating labor markets with Petraeus?
It's like, yeah, why we did all of this shit and we overthrew Assad in order to, I guess, get like a slightly better deal for a French concrete company. Also, the other thing about Syria that's driving me insane is that we're talking about Syria being kind of like welcomed back into the community of nations with open arms. Not exclusively, right? Because one of its neighbors is pursuing a policy of Syria has to demilitarize in like thirds, like a Viennetta or something, like a Neapolitan ice cream, right? And it's not allowed to do anything. And also we're going to take a bunch of its land and like just kind of forcibly surveil a bunch of it. And that's Israel. And so you're in this difficult situation. And in particular, Jilani, sorry, I don't mean to dead name the guy, al-Sharaa is in this difficult position where he's like, yeah, I want to make kind of a pragmatic deal with Israel. And it's like, look at all the last guys who tried to make a pragmatic deal with Israel. They've killed all of them.
Yeah. Oh, God. But like the funny thing is, because now the U.S. is on everybody's side, just being like, make nice. You must make nice. Now, like they're like, look, we're not going to sign the Abraham Accords while they're bombing us, but
I'm gonna buy Tom Barrack a copy of Polysecure because I think it'll really help him, you know?
Yeah, like and even now, he's like, we're making an ongoing security deal with Israel. Well, your name was Jolani after the Golan Heights.
It's like I am making a security deal with the rabid dog I am holding by the leash 2 inches away from my femoral artery.
Yeah, that's like a guy called like Bobby North Tower making a security deal with the Taliban on September 12th.
A thing which, for all we know, kind of did also happen.
Probably did happen.
Because we're trying to do that. Trump's trying to talk to the Taliban about getting Bagram back. And it's like, you tortured most of them in there.
Yeah. Well, because he just thinks that all of them are going to be like Jelani. And because what you really have to offer, because I think what Jelani sort of saw, like reading articles about him, he's a fascinating character because he's such a chameleon. Where it's like, oh, what happened is this guy saw that there was a very narrow, winding path to him being able to have one of those 120-foot, like, stories up apartments in the south of Central Park. And he walked it perfectly. And they're hoping that the Taliban are going to be the same. They're going to be like, look, guys, all I'm saying is if you let Talis build your train infrastructure, then you all can have apartments in Paris. You could all have apartments in Paris. Pretty good.
Hard to
Maybe
argue.
You want that?
I'm just kind of doing China doing a kind of like Agent Smith thing where it's like very difficult to financialize Afghanistan or Syria in that way when you have no economy, President Trump.
Yeah. But what use is an international investment treaty if you are unable to invest? So the other thing is on the sidelines of that, this is, I think, the really more meaningful meeting, because the meeting with Petraeus was just them it was almost like a symbolic embrace, right? It was I think it was important that it was Petraeus to be like the no hard feelings, like it's like the mafia sit down where they like do a kiss on the cheek at the end, like it was for show.
Yeah, like look at us. Who would have guessed, you know?
Yeah. You and me? Oh, okay. All right. Put a pin in this. Seth Rogen, he already has the beard. Let's do another, like, we could do like a Seth Rogen buddy movie. Come on, that'd be fun.
God.
All right, so Paul Rudd plays General Petraeus. No, so I think the more important meeting was when he convened a group of business leaders, investors, this was in the Syrian news agency. This is a press release in the Syrian Arab news agency. Ahmed al-Sharaa convened a group of business leaders, investors, and representatives from major American and international companies during a roundtable session hosted by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. And it's like, he's basically saying, all right, Syria, come on in. Asset strip us. Let's go.
Yeah.
And so it's like the article kept it very vague, but it's like, oh, the discussion focused on exploring investment opportunities in Syria and highlighting the company's promising economic potential. And it's like, no, that's what you're really saying is Syria, a very heavily unionized, very big public sector. We're going to get rid of all of that, and Serco can come in and basically Britify Syria.
Great.
So,
yeah. Again, as with any time it comes up, I think it is fair to ask, haven't the Syrian people suffered enough? And once again, everyone who actually has a sort of say in deciding an answer to that question goes, no.
Maybe the Syrian people would like 6 different types of like parking app that you have to use in order to, like, you know, use any type of service, or like bins that are kind of collected whenever. And, you know,
I think at this point you just want people to stop dropping, like, you know, sort of chlorine gas on your house. And, well, you do have to say he has delivered that much. But if then the problem is like, okay, well, I'm not getting like chlorine gas dropped on my house anymore, but also I can't afford to live there.
Yeah,
that's
I'm not getting
also bad.
Nothing's being dropped on my house, but it does seem that Blackstone now owns it.
Yeah,
which is a bit worrying. And look, here's the thing. This is also how you know that Jelani is 1 million times as smart as MBS, because he's not being like, oh, we're going to make Syrian NEOM. He's like, no, I'm not going to fall for glasses guy antics. We're just going to deregulate the banks and crush the unions, and then I get to live south of Central Park.
It's interesting as well that, like, unlike MBS, there's no question of like kind of social liberalism, right? Like everyone kind of tacitly understands, hey, this guy is an HTS, right? Well, he was HTS. And unlike MBS, unlike Saudi Arabia, no one's like, okay, well, beyond a sort of bare minimum of like no kind of like ethnic cleansing that we can see and have to care about. We don't care what happens to like kind of women in Syria. We don't care what happens to like minorities in Syria. Just give us the fucking like cement plants and stuff.